There we go. And you should all have a little widget there saying that the session is being recorded up on your screen. Does that come up on your screen, Nikki?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pop the presentation up on the screen, and Nikki and I are going to talk you through the presentation. So let's have a crack now at sharing the presentation. Okay, so can everybody now see the PowerPoint presentation up on the screen there?
Yep, I've got some yeses.
Yeah, lovely. That's great. If you can all shout out on the chat, that's wonderful for us. So, welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining the session. So this is actually the Students' Union takeover of the BU Your Career Week. What we really wanted to do with this session to help you to understand the benefits of volunteering whilst you're studying at the uni, and how this can really help you to enhance your CV. And it's really talking about some things that you think might not really count towards volunteering or to be on your CV. Well, it's all really important stuff, and actually it does. So with SUBU then, we think that it's really important to do some volunteering during your time at university, and you'll see a few facts and figures up on the screen there. So over the years, we've actually built up a really good relationship with local and national charities and not-for-profit organisations and community projects, and we encourage them to put up a wide variety of roles on our volunteer hub, which Nikki is going to talk about in a moment. And they can be things like you know, one-off opportunities. It might be that you go off and help marshal at a local event, or it could be really regular opportunities. Like we had a group of students that went every Friday to support the Alzheimer's Society, and they were organising socials for dementia patients and doing fun things like singing for the brain and memory quizzes and stuff like that. And it's looking at your skills as well. I mean, I know that we have a lot of students that are studying media, and they can help these companies and organisations with their social media. There's conservation projects, and you know, helping to coach local children with life skills through our WAVE project, which is all about coaching and surfing, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah, 46 of our students have volunteered as crisis text supporters for Shout as well during the pandemic. So that's just some of the things that are going on at the moment. And we've even got virtual volunteering, which Nikki's going to talk about later on. But all of these things can actually be tracked on the SUBU Volunteer Hub, and we'll show you how you can log on to this hub and register and use it. So I'm going to jump out of the screen just for the moment, and Nikki's going to jump on, and she's going to share a video with you. And this is actually one of our graduate students who talks about how volunteering whilst at university has helped her with her career. Okay, so,
welcome to our big charity chat. This morning we are with the lovely Naomi from Diverse Abilities.
I actually went to Bournemouth University, so I graduated about 3 years ago now.
nearly 4. I was part of the RAG Society whilst I was there, so I did East African playgrounds, so we went out to Africa and we built playgrounds. I did some local volunteering around the Dorset area, Kilimanjaro, children, so yeah, I've done lots of bits and bobs over time, and I wanted my 9 to 5 to go towards doing something good, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So I am the fundraising officer here, so I deal with the corporate and the community fundraising, so that we can raise vital funds to keep doing what we do. Ever since I've left university, I pretty much went to university with the mindset I was not going to say no to anything. So I studied in China for a month, I did fundraising, I did volunteering, I did everything kind of extracurricular that you can do. I did hockey, I did all sorts. And when I go to employers, and well, I've been very lucky, every interview I've gone to since leaving university, I've got the job. And that's something incredible, but everything that they've said in my feedback was that it was due to everything I've done outside university. Yeah. Having a degree now isn't enough, really. A lot of people have got degrees, have got good grades in degrees, and it's what you've done outside of that that really builds a picture of who you are and how well-rounded you are, the ability to do more than one thing at once. You're not just studying, but you can do all of these things. And you've also got all of these interests, and you've got initiative, and that's something that's definitely always come up throughout my professional career so far. Coming to Diversabilities, obviously it helped a lot as well, because coming from a fundraising background, it's it can be tough sometimes. You've got to have a bit of a hard skin, but it's very, very rewarding. Like I said before, I worked for a property investment franchise, so we made a lot of money for people, but I didn't feel like I was doing good, and that's a really important thing for me. Well, I cannot thank you enough, Naomi, for your time this morning. Really, really interesting. Really great to learn more about Diversabilities and to hear about your story as well, and coming from sort of BU as well, and your fundraising journey as well. Really, really good. And I think hopefully that will help to motivate and inspire lots more students. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I started talking then with my, I put my thing on mute there because the dog was barking at the postman, the joys of using technology and remote sessions like this. So I hope you really got a feel there for how volunteering whilst at university really helped Naomi with her new career working with Diversabilities. Okay, so I'm just going to pop my screen back up here now and carry on with a little bit more of the presentation. So there we go. The next thing I wanted to talk about then was the correlation between volunteering and employability. And these are just some basic and important facts that we really think are good. These are things that you can put on your resume that translate from volunteering to your career. So we talk about transferable skills, and it is widely recognised that there are lots and lots of skills, even including soft skills, which are transferable from these roles to your future careers. So you can see there things like leadership, time management, prioritisation. When our students are going out and working on their volunteer projects, they will be leading teams, and we'll talk about some of our own leadership projects for you a little bit later on in the presentation. But demonstrating time management, those students that I talked about that go to the Alzheimer's Society every Friday, they have to be timely and manage the event, and you know, prioritisation and delegation. That's all part of the teamwork. And in particular with communication, you'll find if you're volunteering in the community, you're speaking to and liaising with people from all walks of life. Okay, another really great thing is research and analysis. And Nikki's going to be talking to you about that a little bit later on, because that links to all of the virtual volunteering that we've had on offer, which I think particularly through COVID times has become more and more popular with our students. So, you know, all of these skills, they are greatly valued by employers. And then they're not necessarily easy to demonstrate on a CV when you're just saying, well, I am good at time management. You need to say or demonstrate on your CV how you're good at time management, and the opportunity to actually be able to say, well, I'm good at time management because whilst I was at university, I dragged myself out of bed at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning to help with sand dune management over at Studland Bay, stuff like that. Okay. So this quote here, this is actually part of a report from the Department of Business Skills and Innovation. And this was actually the graduate recruitment and selection practices side of it. And this quote is from an employer who was actually saying that when they're looking at the CVs of students, the standout ones aren't always the ones that have a part-time job, but the ones that get involved in volunteering activities. They kind of regard those as the good ones because it's not just that you get out of bed for money, it's that you are really demonstrating willing and you're not afraid of a hard day's work just for money. You're reaping the benefits for that on a personal level and for the charity or organisation that you're volunteering with. And as it says there's some CVs from students that this large employer said they just make you go wow. So if you're volunteering and that's then on your CV in the future, you are really giving your CV that wow factor. Okay, so this is a little bit of information that Nikki found that was from the Deloitte Impact Survey. And this survey was about building leadership skills through volunteerism. So when you look at it there, it was saying that when they surveyed these respondents, they were actually saying that volunteer experience was only listed on 30% of the CVs that they received from students. But at the same time, those respondents of this survey, 82% of them said they would actually be more likely to choose a candidate that had some sort of volunteer experience put on their resume or CV. And 85% of them, this is a really interesting fact, said that they'd actually be willing to overlook resume or CV flaws when the candidate included volunteering on their CV. So I think that's sort of like quite powerful information there on influencing employers on CVs. Okay, so let's talk about the Witham factor. Oh, we've got another person that's just jumping in on the meeting here. So how do you benefit from volunteering? Have you ever heard of the Witham factor? WIIFM. What's in it for me? How do you benefit from volunteering? Well, let's take a look at that. Oh, skipped too far. So we put it in one short, sharp, sweet little quote there for our students. Anyone that comes to speak to me and Nikki about volunteering, we say, do good, feel good. But as you can see there on a Mental Health Foundation report that carried out a report looking into a number of things, including volunteering, it listed these benefits for you personally. If you've got the time to volunteer during your studies, it can help reduce your stress levels. It can really improve your emotional well-being. Things like getting out into the green, volunteering with the National Trust. Who else have we got? Dorset Wildlife Trust, RSPB. There's a whole county out there waiting for you in Dorset, and getting out into green even for 30 minutes a day is really good for the old endorphins and just helps you feel better and improve your well-being. With any volunteering opportunity, you're bound to meet new people and make friends. And it's really good. You'll often meet other students that are coming along to these volunteering opportunities, but you're meeting people that you would otherwise not bump into in the community whilst you're at university. I think one of the really, really powerful points on this slide, particularly during COVID times, is that it helps to create that sense of belonging and reduce isolation. That's so important for mental health in these times. And quite rightly, you know, getting out there, keeping busy, keeping active, doing this volunteering, it can really sometimes help you to keep things in perspective in your own life. And not to mention the benefits of physical health when volunteering. We've had students in the past that have done things like they help to clear a load of rhododendron bushes around the parks down at Merrick Park in the centre of Bournemouth. So every Wednesday afternoon for 2 or 3 hours, they were rhododendron bashing. I mean, that's really quite physical work, but they absolutely loved it. And that was like an 8-week-long project that students really tucked into. So it can be really beneficial for your health. And as Nikki always likes to remind our students, it's all about having fun. That's a really important thing. Just get out there, do volunteering and have fun. So I'm going to hand you over to Nikki now, and Nikki is going to walk through how you can actually register on our SUBU volunteering hub and how you can use it and how it is going to work for you. So it is quite easy to use. If you haven't done so already, then have a look on subu.org.uk, and over to you, Nikki.
Hiya. I'm just going to show you a bit about the volunteering hub and how to use it, and just to give you an idea of what sort of things are on it. The volunteering roles come and go as different organisations put different things up for what they need. So where you find it all is if you go to Be Involved and then you click down here onto volunteering. This is our sort of home landing page. For those of you that haven't already registered as a volunteer, this is the first thing to do. You do it here. The reason that you need to register is so that when you apply for a role, the charity will be passed your contact details so they can then get in touch with you to work out all the details. And also, if you register as a volunteer, every week you will get an email with all the new volunteering roles. So that means that you don't have to think about going on and checking to see if there's anything that suits your interests or the time you've got. You'll just get an email into your inbox, which you can open and you can go, no, 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 oh, actually, that's quite interesting, or I've got time, or I quite fancy doing a Christmas jumper beach clean, and so on. So the way you register is you'll need to be logged into your normal sort of Students' Union account first, and then you click here where you set up your volunteering profile. The other reason to have a volunteering profile is that as you volunteer, you can record the time that you spend volunteering and the skills that you are using, and that will add to your profile record. so that when you come to leave university, or if you're applying for jobs while you're here, you can download a record of all your volunteering to put with your CV. So when you come through this page, first of all, you can say whether you were a student, a rep, a member of a club, of a society. You just drop on to whichever is appropriate there. And then here you'll see that we ask you to fill in a few questions on our diversity monitoring. These are all questions that I'm sure you will have come across when you enrolled in university, but if you could fill them out, it just helps us monitor how we're doing in this respect. Then you come down to the more volunteering specific questions. There are two main areas here. The first is the areas that you're interested in. And the second are the skills that you can offer or that you would like to develop. When you land on the page, they are all ticked. If you're interested in everything, just leave them all ticked. But otherwise, you switch this button here to none, and again down here. And then you can just go through and tick off the things that you are particularly interested in. So these can be things to do with your studies, or they could just be things that you quite like doing in your spare time, or stuff that you want to learn more about. So you might say, I'm really interested in conservation. So you would tick all of these, environmental conservation. You might also tick some of these, wildlife, so on. Or you might be more interested in the people side of things. So you might go into people, elderly care, education, ethics, mental health, maybe supporting domestic violence and drug addiction charities. As you can see, it's very wide and broad. So you go through this, and by doing this, what happens is that when you come to look for volunteering opportunities, you'll be able to pick out the ones that link with your interests. Again, going down to skills. If you think, oh, I'm not sure what I can do, what I can offer, just tick general help. You know, that's as much wanted by these organizations as very sort of pinpoint skills. But also, a lot of these charities are run by people who have got very little time. They're sort of trying to do it from a room in their bedroom while they juggle other priorities. And quite often they need the skills that you students can offer. We get a lot of charities saying, oh my God, we would love somebody to help us with our social media, or to help us to sort out our logos or our websites. You get people saying, oh, we'd like people who could analyze the data because we collect all this data and we're not sure what to do with it. So look through these and just click as many as you feel that you have to offer, or that you really think you would like to improve. On here as well, you'll see on both places we've got virtual volunteering. I will come to that a bit later, but this is something that we've put more emphasis on during COVID, because some of our charities are less able to do the face-to-face work that they were doing before COVID. And so they're trying to think of other ways of supporting their charities. Then coming down to faculties, if you just click your faculty, the reason for this is that if we have a volunteering role that obviously falls within a faculty, then we will link it to that faculty. So for example, Mind Dorset is a mental health charity, so that might fall as a volunteering role into health and social sciences. But some of their roles will say, well, we're looking for somebody to help us with our social media, so that role would also fall within media and communications. And then down here we have our sustainable development goals. These are the 17 goals put out by the UN to just try to improve the planet. Again, you can tick that you're interested in all of them, or you can say, do you know what, I haven't got time to support every single sustainable development goal, but I am particularly interested in good health and well-being and climate action, say. Again, by doing this, this will mean that when the the newsletters come to you every week. They will pick up on these points that you have clicked on, so that you're not flooded with just everything, and that you will get things more pertinent to your requirements. After you've played with all of these tick boxes, you come down to your contact information. This will go to charities whenever you apply for a role, so that they can then get in touch with you. And here, the email updates. This is so that you can get these newsletters that I've mentioned. And if you tick this, they will just pop into your inbox every week. Emergency contact, again, you would have had this when you enrolled in the university. You would have put that person there, so if you could pop that in. And then finally, you need to read the small print and tick that you accept the terms, and then you'll create your profile by ticking create profile here. Once you've done that, you're ready to apply for any volunteering roles that you find interesting. I'll pop you through now just to show you around the volunteering hub. So again, you come back to volunteering. You've got several buttons here. I hope you can all see them. So this is the virtual volunteering, and I'll come back to that a bit later. This is the volunteering profile, where all of your skills and hours are recorded. We've gone through some of the benefits of volunteering, but if you want to remind yourself, you can go back and have a look at this. Here you can browse the charities just to see who's on our website. And here you can look at some frequently asked questions, just in case you want to be reminded of anything. But let's go in and see what is live on the hub at the moment. So when you land on the hub, you will see that you can click on the areas that interest you. Now you can turn this filter off and then just have a look through. I think we'll do that first, just to sort of show you around. So for example, at the moment, we've got a student-led project, which is a beach clean, and Gilly will talk to you a little bit more about the student-led projects later, where they want volunteers to come down to Bournemouth Pier and help pick up litter. We've got a few committees that are looking for volunteer committee members, because we also use this volunteering hub to put up volunteering requirements within the Bournemouth University community as well. This is a new volunteering scheme that we're piloting. We've been talking to a care home, and their residents are feeling quite isolated at the moment due to COVID, and they're not getting the visitors that they were, and they're feeling rather sort of a bit lonely. So we're piloting a scheme where students can send letters and become pen pals with community care home residents. This is an overseas project, as is this. Again, we've got projects from Dorset Mind that are looking for events volunteers when they get their events going again next year. This is an opportunity that Gilly mentioned, to get over to Studland Beach and get out and help Dynamic Dunescape preserve the dunes. This is one that's involving sort of getting down and dirty in the sand. The Surf Mentor project, this is one where they're looking for students just to help young children develop their confidence through surfing. You don't even have to be a surfer for that. They're just looking for someone to help encourage and run it. Going through, this is a few of the virtual volunteering roles. If you see this logo, it means you can do it virtually. So these are more of the just a variety of the roles that we have, really, as you go through. And I know I'm whizzing through quite quickly, for which I apologise, but I just wanted to give you a run through so that you can see the breadth that we have out there. I mean, we've got some on there run by the Student Union as well, who are looking for people to get involved with our BAME monitoring. Anything like that, if you're looking to filter them to look for specific areas, then you can, and you can bring up, say you're interested in mental health, you would click that, and it would bring up some of the mental health roles. So that's how you use the hub to look at the roles. If you find one, you click on apply, and that will then take you through to more of the details on it. I'm just going to let Jilly talk a bit now about the student-led roles. So I'll pop my screen back to Jilly, who can chat to you a bit about some of the things we have that the students run.
There we go. Sorry, I'm just unmuting myself there. So let's pop this screen up for you.
And while Jilly's doing that, there's a few questions from people that have tried to log in or have volunteered for opportunities where they haven't heard back. What I'll do is I'll take a note of all of those and come back to you privately after this. I'll drop you an email so that we can try to sort it out. I'll just read through some of those as we're going.
Sorry about this, folks. There we go. There we go. Can you see that screen now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody got that? So,
yeah.
Yeah. So this is the student-led volunteering screen, and what you can actually do if you've had a look through all of those volunteering opportunities that Nikki has just walked through, and you kind of think that there's nothing there that's leaping out at me or appealing to me. If you did your own research online and found a charity, a not-for-profit organisation or a community project that you would like to be involved with that we don't know about, you can actually apply to be a project leader here. So there's some easy steps here that are explained to you on the screen. But what you would basically do is put your ideas together to create your project, and you would actually submit your project proposal to us. You simply hit this little button here, and it will take you through to this form where you would complete your details, outlining all of the time scales for your project and who else is going to be involved in that project with you, what the aims are, how it's going to benefit you, how it's going to benefit the community. And then once you've completed that, we would actually then get in touch with you to chat about your project proposal a bit more, and help you to set that up and get that rolling. We have got a tiny bit of budget to help support you with that project. So effectively what we like and want for our students is that volunteering, it only costs you time, it doesn't cost you money. So we'll help you with that where we can. And towards the bottom of the page here, we've got examples of two projects that are up and running at the moment, the Beach Champions. And this is a group of students that have come together, and they're running regular beach cleaning projects. It's really nice. It's kind of become a bit of a tradition and what students do in Bournemouth. They all love the beach and want to help to clean it and look after it. So they organise these monthly beach cleaning sessions. We've got litter pickers and litter sacks to do this. And usually the project leaders will take some hot refreshments and snacks to keep you sustained throughout the pick. And they usually do that for a couple of hours, normally kicking off at Bournemouth Pier. and then later on in the year we try and go further out to places like Hengistbury Head and Sandbanks, and if the weather gets better in early summer, they even do a little barbecue after the beach clean, which is lovely.
Gilly, can I just interrupt?
Sure.
Could you just show the students where to add skills to a profile on your screen while you've got the sharing up? Just a few have asked about that.
So
chucking Gilly
back into volunteering, I just very quickly need to log in.
Look away, everybody.
Okay. Really good question, and I'm really glad people are keen to know that. So my actual volunteering profile here, this is where you would actually log your hours and view your profile. Community volunteering is the usual one, but you are volunteering when you're doing clubs and society roles, or even being a rep for the student voice department. And you can see with my profile here, I have been filling it in with opportunities and things I've done. And once I've done that, if I want to download my hours, I just click onto this download hours log. Let's see if we can do this as a PDF, and is that showing on the screen there, that log?
Yeah.
So there you can see it's got dates, the hours that I've done and what I was actually doing all listed there. So I've been doing things like working at the allotment, weeding, I worked on the elections stand as a volunteer for democracy and campaigns. I did food sorting at Fair Share Warehouse and hamper painting and wrapping for Christmas.
That not everybody can see the PDF. Maybe if you double click on the PDF.
Okay.
Oh, you'll see it. But also, you don't have to only a volunteering opportunity that you've done through the university. You can add any volunteering that you do from anywhere. And the other thing that we would like to emphasize, oh, there it is. Yeah. There it is. We can see the PDF now. The other thing is that if you do virtual volunteering, this is just as valid. And it uses skills quite often like data analysis. And some of the virtual volunteering is people-to-people skills, like the Shout text crisis volunteer that Gilly mentioned earlier on. So anything you do anywhere, just log it. Just log it and add it to your hours and skills.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that was downloading hours. And what we'll do now is just quickly show you as well how to download your skills record. So we click on download skills here. I'm going to grab that as a PDF so I can attach it to my CV. Is that downloading? There we go. I'm just going to pop out of this screen so that I can share that one with you.
This is unrehearsed, this bit, Gilly. We're doing well.
There we go. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. That's my skills record. And you can see here various dates, like supporting the campus collective. I felt the skills I'd obtained was communication and time management. And I put a little note there of how this has helped me. And you'll see in a minute, I'm going to play you a video from one of our students, Annie, who talks about how her skills helped her to land a really, really good placement role. But this is what we were saying about earlier, that if you're doing a CV, if you just say, I'm good at communicating and you're not saying how, you've got this to refer back to where you can say, I'm good at communicating because when I was volunteering, I was speaking to people at the allotment, listening to small groups. You can see all those different things that I've got on the screen there. Communication and listening skills when I went to a Mars Trust session working with local schools. So, anything I've written there in that skills obtains column is the stuff that I'd be talking about on my CV and in interviews. Okay, so I hope that helps you and makes sense. Brilliant. So what are we going to talk about next, Nikki? We're nearing the end of the session now.
I think it'd be a good time to show Annie's video.
Yeah.
And maybe we can go and see if there's some questions and answers then. And if anybody couldn't see the PDF, what we'll do is we will email them to you.
Yes.
And then help you set up your own skills record if you get stuck. I think they did come up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can share all of this information with you, and I think we'll even be able to send the PowerPoint slide to you as well. Okay, let's just see if I can share my screen with you all now. Is that back up there for everybody?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So this is Annie. Like I say, she worked with a local organisation, Bournemouth Parks Foundation, and she talks about how this landed her dream placement job. So here we go.
There's no volume at the moment, Julie. Shall I?
Sorry, Nikki.
I couldn't hear any. I couldn't hear Annie.
Oh, is everybody else having trouble hearing Annie?
I can hear her as well.
You can't. Okay, I'll share it from my screen. I've got her here, Julie. I'll just pop her up.
Okay.
Thanks, Michaela.
It's okay.
When you with the student union, you had a volunteering section. So I went on to the SUBU website and I just followed it from there and saw all of the available possibilities and different job roles you can do through SUBU. So I'm with Bournemouth Parks Foundation, and that is making parks more sustainable, more viable in the future, and getting people involved outside. So I picked marketing and communications. So I just go in once a week as an assistant, and I do things like the social media, creating content for posts. I've done a couple of grant applications, and then a bit of design work as well, but mainly just marketing opportunities. I really enjoyed going to a session called Parks in Mind that Bournemouth Parks runs. So it's a gardening ecotherapy group. So it's kind of just like gardening and meeting people, kind of looking after and sustaining our parks. And I went along to a couple of those to write some blogs about, and I really actually enjoyed them. And I was usually kind of in the office, but it made me want to get outside, and it was just really nice to connect with people and kind of appreciate what's out and about. So I've got a placement with the Association of Children and Adolescent Mental Health in London, and without that volunteering, I wouldn't have had any experience. I definitely wouldn't have got the placement, and I also think it shows that you kind of care about something and you're engaged. And if
were applying to work in a charity, or you wanted to gain some skills and you hadn't really volunteered, I don't think you'd look as dedicated or like you really cared. So I'm certain that that's what got me my placement. It's really rewarding. So even if sometimes you think, oh, I'm a bit stressed and I don't have time, people actually tend to really appreciate the work you do. And it's so diverse. So mine worked out really well to help me get a placement and also gain more marketable skills. But really they're so diverse that there's been beach clear-ups that I've been to, and you can get all sorts. So I'd say it's just a really kind of wholesome activity to do.
Brilliant. So I hope you feel inspired by Annie there and how she managed to land that fantastic placements role through all of the volunteering that she'd done while studying at the university. So, okay. Sorry, I won't be a moment. I'm just trying, I love the tech. I love technology.
By the way, that video from Annie is on our volunteering pages under benefits of volunteering. So if you wanted to listen to that again or show anybody else, that is where it is.
Oh, we've come to question time now. So that's all the information we wanted to share with you today. But it's an opportunity now for you to ask me and Nikki any questions that you may have. So feel free to either speak and ask a question, or use the chat and type your question, and me and Nikki can talk that through with you.
I'd also like to say that if you come across an organisation that you would like to support and that you think you would like to volunteer for it, but they're not on our hub, come and talk to us, because we will approach them and say, look, there is a desire to help your organisation amongst our students, and we'll try and get them to use our hub. I see a question about whether being an international student decreases your chances. It absolutely does not. These charities and organisations are very, very inclusive. They are, to be quite frank, grateful for any student that wants to come along and volunteer. So absolutely, if an international student, please volunteer. And also, some of you have asked a few questions about some things that you have volunteered for, and then you've heard back from the charities to say that it's not possible to do that anymore. Sometimes what happens is a charity, they need 4 or 5 volunteers, and unfortunately sometimes what happens is that other volunteers have got in there just a bit beforehand and pinched the roles. So look for something else similar, or again, just send us an email to say, look, you couldn't do that particular role, but you'd be interested in doing something similar, and could we find something for you? And again, another question, should you try to volunteer for things specific to your course? Well, obviously, if something has a direct link for your course, that will benefit your studies, and also it will enable you to use your skills. But I think, as Gilly was talking about earlier, a lot of volunteering roles have skills that you might not necessarily value at the time because they're not obviously relevant to what you're studying, but employers do value these skills like leadership and time management and communications, and all these skills can be demonstrated on things that are not necessarily specific to your course. And a volunteering opportunity that might be paid isn't unfortunately volunteering, although I like where you're coming from. Some volunteering roles will, however, cover costs. So you will see sometimes a volunteering role that says we'll cover your transport cost, or we realise that you're going to have to be there all day, and we'll give you some money to buy yourself some sandwiches and so on. And again, another thing you have to look out for is, or we do monitor it as we put on our hub to make sure that a volunteering role is actually a volunteering role for a charity, and they're not just trying to get students to tip up and do stuff for free. So the stuff on our hub has been checked, and they are sort of proper organisations. Hope that answers your questions.
Thank you. I'm popping a question up here for everyone else, and that is, does the session inspire you to volunteer in the near future? So just shout out and comment on the chat there if you want to.
And again, another question, sorry Ginny, some of these charities are international, or they have an equivalent in other countries. So I don't think it really matters where you volunteer from.
No.
Also with the virtual volunteering, that is something you can do from anywhere. So say you travel in the holidays and you feel like doing a bit of volunteering, you can go onto our hub and you can look at the virtual volunteering roles that are listed, and then you can just sort of pick a few that you can do.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. We're giving you examples that are more local and close to the uni. But if you are, during your time at Bournemouth University, volunteering overseas, and it's not a charity you found on our hub, you can still put that volunteering on that skills and hours log that I showed you, so that it's just so much more easy to remember and put on your CV when you're out there, you know, job hunting for your careers and stuff.
So some people have said that they are inspired to volunteer, which is great.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And
that's so lovely.
Well, I'd say just come and see us. It'd be so nice. Just pop in and say hi. And you know, anything that we can do to help you, we will try. You know, on the volunteering front, obviously you've got to do your own homework.
Yeah, definitely. Come and see us in the Student Centre, or SUBU Towers as students affectionately call it. We're on the second floor. You can see on that slide there's an email, subuvolunteering@bournemouth.ac.uk. And just to remind you again, all of that information we showed you is on the subu.org website /beinvolved/volunteering. So you've been listening today to me, Ginny Lewis, and the lovely Nikki Robinson. And yeah, drop by and say hi anytime. It is just about, we've got 2 or 3 minutes left before the session ends. So if you want to continue to stay on here for a few more minutes and chat, you're more than welcome. And just to remind you, the other sessions that we've got this afternoon, starting at 12 o'clock, Emma Davies is going to talk about Rally International, and that is a really interesting overseas project. So the information on these webinars should be all part of your Careers BU agenda for this week. 2 o'clock, we've got a Change Agent Sustainability webinar, and then at 3, Dawn is going to be talking about our special Sustainability Challenge competition, which is quite exciting as well. Okay, so I'm going to pop out of this screen now, and I will just sit here for a couple more minutes. So if you want to chat with me or type in the chat, for a few more minutes, you're more than welcome.
I was also going to say that if you see a volunteering opportunity that you're interested in, when you press apply, you will get an email that will either say, thank you very much, we'll be in touch. And that's when a charity will then take your number and email address and use it to contact you. Or it will say, thank you very much, please follow X instructions. And sometimes they will lead you to apply on a hub. If you apply to something and you don't hear back from the charity after a bit, send us an email and we'll chase them up for you.
Sure. I'm just going to stop recording now. So